Hello and welcome everyone to the Rainbow Coaching Collective podcast. We are a collective of LGBTQIA plus transformative coaches who are set on empowering members of the community and its allies one conversation at a time. This week is our 14th episode, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you for joining us for all of these lovely episodes. We are going to be exploring today the idea of wintering and what that means to us during this festive period. So firstly, let's say hello to our wonderful coaches. So Max and Rachel.
Hi,
Hi
Holly.
everyone.
Good morning. So the first question that I just wanted to put out to you today, is just how do you feel about this time of year? I'll let that land for a minute.
Yeah. Lots of feelings.
Yeah, I was gonna
Lots of
say
feelings.
a real bunch of
Yeah,
mixed feelings.
Yeah.
yeah. Is there anything that anyone would like to start with that sort of comes to the surface?
It's just funny, isn't it? Just pausing, acknowledging that it it it, it is mixed feelings for me and Rach right there. And I think that's like an example of how it is for a lot of people. Um, like we're surrounded by the joyous stuff, and it's important that we allow ourselves and give us space for that. Oh, I'm talking for myself. Like I allow myself and give myself space for that because there's lots of fun in it. But there are spaces where it feels almost like toxically positive. It's just like you must be happy at this time. You must be festive. And I think it can be a time of year where everything's put under the microscope and it can really sort of as a result of that, bring things to the surface. And that can result in people feeling mixed emotions. Uh, but I think like what we see around us is not mixed emotions, it's just joy, festivity. And so there's almost like this expectation to be part of that. And I think that's what I struggle with this time of year is like allowing myself to have the joy, have the fun, but also not like acting truly in alignment with how I am feeling as well, and allowing myself to feel the things that might not be as comfortable, and not just sort of masking over that. So I think mixed feelings for me really sort of sums it up. Um, how about you, Rach?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said. I think for me, wintering on a kind of seasonal level, it's darker nights, it's colder, um, which again, sometimes I really like it. I really like those crisp mornings if it's nice and bright, and I like this, kind of getting cozy at night if it's dark. But the flip side is, I don't deal well with the cold. um, and then, as you can probably hear it, I have a bit of a cold, so I kind of like winter colds come. Um, and actually, I preferred winter when I used to live on a narrowboat because I just had a little wood burner and I never got colds. But I find with central heating, I get more colds. And I do realise I'm quite privileged to have the heating. But if I had a choice, I would burner would go for. So in that sense, I'm kind of torn, even with just the season. And then I totally agree with Max in the sense of, it's kind of December in a way feels like it's slowing down. You're coming to the end of the year, um, with kind of the promise of a new year coming, but although you're slowing down, you're kind of speeding up because it's the whole social. It's Christmas. We've all got to have fun. We've all got to go and socialize, and we've all got to be buying the ideal presents. So I
Mm.
think there's a lot of pressure in that sense. So, but also I love the time. Depending where I've been in different stages of working. Sometimes I've worked Christmas. Sometimes, spending Christmas with family and friends. So it's um, it's never kind of the same. which can
No.
sometimes, bring up breaking of routines and then actually feeling it's okay to rest. So,
Mm.
yeah,
Mm,
it just stirs a lot of emotions, and I have to really remind myself that I need to look after me within that period.
yeah.
Can I just say, I never knew you lived on a narrowboat. I'm really curious about that. We can have a whole episode on Rachel's life in the narrowboat. I'd
I
love to hear about
know.
that. Just as a
Yeah.
segue.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I can totally imagine it as well. Like when you said it, I was like, I didn't know either. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. But the idea of being on a cozy narrowboat with a
I
wood
had a real
burner, I
image.
can't think of anything
Yeah,
else more cozy, to be honest.
yeah,
What I need right now,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
How
did
about
adore
you,
that.
Holly?
Yeah, gosh, guys, thank you so much for those responses because there was so much in them. Um, and I completely concur with so much of it, all of it. So yeah, it's a particularly beautiful time of year. I absolutely love the beauty within nature. But what I've also written down is the word polarization because
Mm.
it can be so beautiful. Those beautiful crisp mornings when the sky can be blue and you've got ice and you can see the sunrise. Is just, there's nothing like it, or a nice crisp walk, in the woods, or, it can be such a beautiful time of year. But like there was there was yesterday down here in Cornwall where it was torrential rain and cold for the whole day. And I was like, this I'm not so positive about. And it's that idea of polarization of the light in the dark with the Christmas lights, but it can also be really, really polarizing because, like you said, Max, everything feels highlighted and it can feel very heavy.
Mm.
You've got the physical darkness. You get up in the dark. If you're working, or even if you're at home during the day, by the time you kind of get out, it's already dark. So I've gone for lots of dark walks, and that can be beautiful, but it can also be quite heavy as
Mm.
well. And what you said, Rach, about the speeding up towards the end of the year, that can be an exciting time with the prospect of a new year. But there's also that pressure of, oh my God, there's so much that I need to get done before the end of the year, or so much I haven't quite achieved what I wanted to this year. So it's such polarizing emotions, I think, that is going on. So yeah, it's a mixed bag, I think, at
Mm.
this time of year, and I think it's important to acknowledge that and say that all of that is okay um, within that mixed bag. I just wanted to touch on the idea of wintering, which is the sort of big loose topic for today, and what that means, because it's not perhaps something that is maybe everyone's heard of, or even a concept of that people would know about. And the reason that I am aware of it, I think I heard the idea before, but I was given this book actually by a very, very good friend of mine. We've both of us have been through difficult times in terms of grief. And she gifted me this wonderful book called Wintering, and it's by Catherine May, and it's The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times. So I would thoroughly recommend it as a read. I took my time in reading it because it does go through the seasons. It goes through from October through to March. So it's literally the season of winter. But reading it, it gave me permission to know how important wintering is, and that we can't always be go, go, go. We can't always be in sunshine. And the actual benefits of wintering, and actually the benefits of rest, relaxation in these dark and sometimes difficult times. So that's the kind of concept of wintering. So yeah, just to kind of put that out there, that was really helpful for me. But I'm just going to put out the question, what does that idea mean to you both? Or what could it represent to you if it's not something that you're already familiar with?
Mm. Rach, do you want to go? Do you want me to go?
No, I'm gonna let you go. I think I need a bit of thinking time.
It, it it's funny. I wrote down two words that just came to me when you were speaking, Holly, and that was allowing and permission.
Mm.
Allowing and permission. Thanks for the book recommendation. I haven't read that. I'm gonna definitely read that. But sort of it feels like what we've talked about with this mixture of feelings, the polarization, things like that. There is a pressure of sorts. There is a pressure to be a certain way this time of year. And we don't want to take away the joy of this time of year because it can be really joyous, but there is definitely a pressure. We all feel it, and I'm sure others feel it. Um, and that pressure is for lots of different reasons that we've talked about. That pressure to, be out and about all the time. That pressure to wrap things up. That pressure to reflect on what we have done, what we haven't done. Um, and I guess the word permission there is like giving ourselves permission to step back and just be how we are without forcing. Um, Giving ourselves that permission and the allowing, very similar, but that's kind of like really allowing whatever needs to come through to come through. So we're not in this like polarization. We're just allowing. So some days we might want to go and be at the social thing. We might want to enjoy ourselves, but some days we might not, and that's okay. Um, but I just picked up on that, and then just more generally, like the wintry. I mean, it's a time that animals literally go and hibernate, right? And we
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
We don't. We just crack on, and we just expect to be at the same like level the whole year round, and we don't follow these rhythms and cycles that literally other creatures do. And I wonder what would happen if we did. If we did actually literally winter, if we did actually like down tools and between October and March start to slow things down, and then we did start to pick up the pace in spring and come out, and then summer have that real energy. I wonder if what would happen if we did operate like that more. And I suppose we all can. We can choose to do that more, and giving ourselves permission to not be on for the whole year. But like even just thinking for people that are listening, just like one thing that you could do to slow down between now and March, one thing you're going to change. And I'm thinking for myself, just willing to practice what I preach. And I think there's things I can think of that I'm going to do. Um, yeah, for sure. I think in relation to routine, like taking one or two things out that don't need to be there to really start to winter.
Mm,
Mm.
beautiful. Thank you, Max.
Yeah, no,
Really
thank you.
lovely.
When you were talking about that, what came up for me, um, or what was coming up before you spoke was the seasons and what nature does. But listening to you, it made me remember that actually, I mean, I love trees.
Mm.
What I love in the winter time is the leaves drop and you get to see the real tree.
Wow.
It's quite raw. There's no hiding, there's no masking it, and it just is. And I think you said, just allow yourself to be, and that's what came up to me. That image that the tree doesn't fight to hold on to its leaves or sorry, um, it's about letting go the seasons, and like you say, the animals hibernate. Um, and actually, this year I've kind of um, have done less, and actually I feel better for it. And this month I booked myself in for 2 sound baths to make sure I had something a bit more, because I do, and I can get swept along with the momentum of December. It's Christmas, got to do all that. And this year I've kind of been much more taking more of what I like. So I quite like going for a walk when it's dark, but people haven't pulled the curtains. So I'm quite
Mm.
nosy.
Yeah,
Get a little
same.
insight into their life. Seeing their Christmas decorations up, which I think is lovely. But I do like. There's a place where I go, locally where I live, where you can just kind of stand by a park and you can see the trees that have all lost their leaves, and they just all stand tall. They're just all there, bare and raw, and I just think that's so beautiful, especially when you get the sun setting behind it and the different colours. Um, so wintering, I love that aspect of it, and I do like getting a blanket and just wrapping it around, sat on the couch, and relaxing. But yeah, I think in previous years it's all been speeding up, speeding up, speeding up, and this year it's more. No, I'm gonna hibernate and slow down a little bit more.
That gave me
What about
tingles,
you?
the tree.
Yeah,
Yes, so beautiful, Rachel. Such a lovely idea and concept. Um, it's really funny that when you're talking, I looked up because I love that as well. When the trees kind of are stripped back, I literally the other day found a vase. Um, I won't show because it probably won't show up, but I bought a vase in an antique shop, and it's basically they've got the effects of like a sunset, and then I don't know how they've done it, but it's like a really natural, like like the kind of silhouette of the trees on the sun.
Oh,
And I'm just looking at it. So yeah,
wow.
oh wow, yeah, that felt like really connected. I really loved that. I
Oh,
just literally
beautiful.
found it the other day. Thank you so much, both of you. It's really interesting. I just have to kind of relate that I find it so interesting that both of you have related it back to nature because that is something that has been really strongly in my own consciousness recently. And the idea of sort of the acceptance of this time of year and that stripped back nature, and kind of going with the Earth's natural rhythms because I've really been conscious of how much we fight against that, especially in
Mm,
cities. You wouldn't, you'd walk down the street at sort of 6, 7 o'clock at night. You wouldn't know necessarily it was night because it is so bright, and we really fight against that. And I feel really offended by the LED lights on cars at the moment. I feel like everything's become so bright and it feels like we're fighting against nature, we're fighting against that
mm,
darkness. Obviously we need health and safety, but that idea of like really fighting again and not going with the natural rhythms I'm finding quite like affronting at the moment.
mm,
um, and the other thing that kind of came to mind is that I've been really conscious of like that New Year time. And that it was just a date that a man made up. I don't, because I've always struck with New Year. I'm like, I don't, it doesn't feel right. Like it doesn't fit with, I know the Earth takes 365 days to rotate, but when that's marked was just made up by a pope. And that I find it doesn't
oh,
sit, doesn't align with me anymore. So I'm not
mm,
saying I'm going to ignore New Year because that's what the majority of the Western world celebrates. But just want to share that I am not going to put pressure on myself to be like New Year starts on the 1st of January. I've decided that I'm going to go with the more natural earth rhythms and the natural moon rhythms of the Chinese New Year. And that for me has taken the pressure off January.
nice.
And
mm,
actually, the New Year, the Chinese New Year, and a lot of the Asian sort of cultures go with the moon's New Year, and the Earth and the moon working together. And that is in February. So it's still that time of year, but it doesn't put, I've never felt like in the depths of winter in January that I want to be like, new,
Mm,
new me. It doesn't feel right. Whereas I'm like, if I give myself a little bit more time and do it in January when the earth is ready and the moon is ready, I feel more ready. That's what I've decided that I'm going to do. So just to share
love
that,
that. I love that.
yeah.
it just feels right to me. I've never thought about it before, but it just didn't naturally on a natural rhythmic level just going with a date that someone's decided doesn't sit right with me. I want to go with what's natural for the earth and the moon. And that's what is sort of dictated with the
Yeah.
earth cycle. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go with my home, the earth. So I don't know if that sounds completely bonkers, but that's just something
Not at all. I
I.
never knew that. And when you think about it, yeah, it must have been created by someone, and of course it's going to be a man, isn't it? Back in history. But that's fascinating. And yeah, you wouldn't like pull like I don't know what animals hibernate. I'm sounding really stupid now. A badger? I think they do. You wouldn't pull a badger out of its like a hole or warren and just like, right, come on, wake up. Let's
Yeah.
let's start shifting the weight. And
Yeah,
Be like, no, you sleep in there until the sun starts to shine and you're ready to crack on and come out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, that's such an important point because we are at the end of the day like creatures, right? We
yeah.
live on this planet. So
Yeah, I think it was when I sort of came across something again. It was on the internet, so I probably need to check the validity of it. But it was about how months have been created, and it was decided by a pope um, back, where I think it was in the 1600s. Don't quote me on that. Might be
Mhm.
completely wrong, but it was, and also like the moon also goes in natural 13. It fits into 13 months, and we've just squeezed it. That's why all of our months have different length days. It's just to make them squeeze them in
Wow.
because a pope decided, and there is a whole nother rabbit hole you could go down, and I went down it a little bit, but it is to do with sort of forcing people into work and that kind of thing.
Mm.
It's a whole toxicity thing. So anyway, I won't go into that too much, but just to say that I've decided to go with the natural rhythm. So if you want to look into that more, feel free. Um, so yeah, I'll stop ranting about that. Yeah, just to sort of round up our topic of wintering, because it can be, and we've acknowledged that it can be a really difficult time of year. But what is something that brings you joy at this time of year?
Mixture. I like, and again, it depends where I've been working, but sometimes I've worked over Christmas, which has bring certain joy when I've been working. But I also like spending time with my family and friends. Um, so that brings me joy. And like I said, I like the weather elements of the crispy sky, or crispy underfoot, sorry, in the bright sky, and just seeing the trees. And I have seen, the badgers come out far less because they are hibernating, but I have seen them. Um, so yeah, I do get joy. Um, Probably from the smaller things rather than the bigger things.
Mm.
I mean, I think, a couple of years ago, I had Christmas with my parents, and we were like, we're not going to get each other presents, but of course we did. Um, and so we just got little things. So we unwrapped one present each before our meal. So they gave me one thing and unwrapped it, and it was tartar sauce. And then they unwrapped something of theirs, and I can't remember what I'd given them, and they were in fits. Oh no, no, sorry. They unwrapped theirs, and I'd given them tartar sauce, and they were in fits of laughter. And I unwrapped whatever they'd given to me. Then we had dinner, and then after dinner we went through the rest of our present, and I undid my a present, and it was tartar sauce. So we were literally, although we'd
That's
never
hilarious.
spoken about it, we had gone out and gone, right, okay, practically, what would be good to use, because what do you, the pressure sometimes of what do you get somebody. So we were like, without even discussing it, we just got practical things.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that's funny. We talked about sort of permission, but it kind of links to that in a way because it's kind of like there's also a permission to be entirely off, right? To not be doing all the things that we should, in inverted commas, be doing. Um, like being able to mong out and watch Home Alone or like the film that you want to watch for ages and switch off and eat the things that you want to eat. And there's definitely like an element of that, isn't there? Just like unplugging. And I think I'm looking forward to the unplugging side. I I've worked so many years where I haven't taken or properly taken the full period off, and I am this year. I'm going to take 2 weeks off, and because I need it, and I'm going to use that as an unplugging, and I'm looking forward to that. I think it's so important before we start in January. Um, yeah, that's my focus, something I'm looking forward to. How about you, Holly?
Um, I think it's the little things. It's the taking some time out as well. I've also got 2 weeks off. And I think for me it's about people. It's about my
Mm,
people in my life. And I'm going to be visiting some friends, be spending Christmas with my parents, and then, yeah, visiting friends who I haven't seen for a long time. And I'm really
nice.
feeling the need for that at the moment. So I think what brings me joy is the people in my life and getting to see them.
Mm,
And because, but however you're feeling on that particular day, they will be there. And however you want to show up, and that's what brings me joy, and to be able to have a laugh. And so that's for me. Yeah, that definitely brings me joy. Just before we sort of come to an end, is there anything anyone wants to add in terms of takeaways or tips for this time of year?
I would just say, we've talked about mixed feelings, we talked about the harder side, but it can be a fun side. So where you have the opportunity to do that and it doesn't feel forced, allow
Mm.
yourself to have fun, allow yourself
Yeah.
to lean in and experience the joy, because this can be a real time that we can do that as well. I don't mean that in a toxic positive way. I mean it in a
No.
genuine way. Yeah, give yourself permission to have fun. Well,
Yeah, I think for me it's maybe tightening in on boundaries with my
Mm.
time and how I want to spend it, and really being mindful of how I'm feeling, and being okay with however I'm feeling on that day, any day over wintering.
Yeah.
Um, because we're humans, we're not going to be happy 24/7. So for me, it's yeah, protecting my energy and giving myself compassion to go. It's okay to have time away, time with people, having joy, maybe yeah, just that kind of some quiet time really
Mm.
as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, both of you. Okay, well, thank you for getting stuck into this topic of wintering and sharing what it means to you and sharing your stories. Um, Listeners, if you resonate with this topic or anything that we've shared today, or you have any ideas on things you'd like us to talk about in the future, please visit our website, which is www.rainbowcoachingcollective.com, or just get in touch with us via email on info@rainbowcoachingcollective.com. We'd love to hear from you. And we've already started to hear from listeners, which we've absolutely loved. And we have been doing some podcasts on their topic. So, yeah, do get in touch. We do read your emails and we do listen. So, I hope everyone has a lovely wintering period, festive period, whatever that means to you. And until next time, most likely in the new year, take care, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Take care. Bye.